Welcome to Heritage Acres Homestead. I'm Chas. Here you'll find our family as we strive to live a life that pleases the Lord. We do our best to make the most out of what we've been given, so we'd like to invite you to come along and join us on our journey.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Heritage Acres Homestead. I'm Chas, and today we're going to talk about fermented foods, specifically fermented garlic. But before we get started on that, let's talk about fermented foods as is. So the body needs, at least a little bit of fermented food every day to help it function properly. The majority of us do not have that in our diets, and it's a shame because so many years back it was a part of everyone's diet because that's one of the ways that food was preserved. So it has gotten away from us because people just don't preserve their own food anymore. Now, you can buy decent fermented foods on the market now. That has not been the case for a while. Fermenting our foods is an important thing to add to our preservation list. When we think about fermented foods, you might think about, okay, what is fermented? Well, what about yogurt? It's cultured dairy. That's a way or a form of fermentation. Clabber, kefir, or as some call it, kefir. I will never get used to saying it, so I'll just continue to say it wrong and call it kefir. That's a cultured milk, and we drink it in smoothies and whatnot. Then you look at fermenting our foods like pickles or kimchi or sauerkraut. And then you can even think about fermenting as in bread, sourdough bread. Our guts, they thrive when they're given fermented foods. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Like, you don't have to sit down and eat a whole bowl of sauerkraut. You could have your dinner plate and you could have a couple of tablespoons of kraut or a couple fermented pickles on the side, and that be plenty to give you a benefit. Now, you might get to the point where you're craving it because there's even fermented drinks. There's kombucha, which I love. There's water kefir. There is beet kvass. There's so many ways that you can get fermented foods in your body. And don't be fooled though. Sadly, not all fermented foods are going to bring you that kind of benefit. Like, there is yogurt at the store, but a lot of times there's so many additives to that yogurt, it's not going to be as beneficial unless, like I said, nowadays there's good brands out there, but it's not going to be as beneficial to you as if you made that yogurt yourself. And I know it's hard to do all the things, but what I suggest, instead of trying to do it all, find something that your family enjoys and work on that thing and get it incorporated in everybody's diet for just a little bit of it. Like I said, a couple of tablespoons once a day, you're going to give your gut those microbes that it needs to help to ward off those problematic issues that so many of us have. And so many of us have them, and they may not be surfacing yet, but they could still be there. So incorporate some fermented foods into your diet. If that were the only reason, that would probably be good enough for us to all want to add some fermented foods to our daily plate. But as homesteaders, homemakers, whatever, we're always, I'm generalizing here, so get with me. I'm always looking for ways to preserve our foods. Now, like I told you, we're going to be talking about fermented garlic, and I'll just tell you, I had some garlic cloves I was saving to plant. Saving. Wasn't using them, weren't eating them. I wasn't cutting them up in anything. I was saving these. Do you know what happened? those things shriveled up and dried up to nothing. I was so frustrated. All that beautiful garlic was ruined, and it was my own fault. Because I wanted to plant it, but it wasn't lasting. But I thought, oh, it'll hang around, it'll hang on, and it didn't. So no planting and no eating. So I had to think on my feet. I had to come up with other ideas, and we have been using fermented garlic for almost 2 decades. We're getting on up there, y'all. My kids are all 20 or almost 20, and are better. Got one getting close to 30. She will not like hearing that, but it's important. Even the youngest, and my Denver, when he was little, and he and Weston both love yogurt, and they eat it a lot. But even Denver, when he was young, I would feed him sauerkraut, and he would eat it. It's harder as they get older, or they get used to that standard American food. It's harder to get them to want to eat those things, so start early if you can. But don't give up, even if they don't like it right away. Just tell them how good. Say, it's going to do your body so good. I want you to eat this 1 spoonful for me, and then just work up. And then a lot of times, if they help you prepare it, or if they see you do it, it will encourage them as well. So I'm talking to you from the oldest to the youngest. So let's talk more about fermented garlic. So let's go over why. I've got this headband on and it's kind of wonky. Let me tuck that in. It looks a little weird. My head is so big. Like, girls can wear these cute little bandanas, and there's like that much left on the end, so it looks like little ties in their head. But my head is so big, there's just not even an inch worth at the end, so it looks like a little horn sticking up on my head. I'm gonna tuck it under. This might not have been a good idea. Oh well. Okay, so let's talk about why. Why ferment? Because, like I said before, when we ferment our food, it increases the nutrients in the food and makes them more accessible to the body. And so, like I said, it amplifies it. So something that's already really good for you, it makes it even better. So we know the homegrown vegetables are even store-bought. Sometimes, store-bought garlic, it's still good for us. It may not be homegrown, but it's organic. And so we take that and we make it better, because sometimes we don't have it from the garden. I hope to have more than enough next year that I don't have to buy this to ferment. But it's, we're all in stages of life, in stages of our gardens and growth, and this is a stage I learned quickly that I don't grow enough garlic. Not even close. So next year I plan to double or triple what I grow. We'll see. It may still not be enough because I use a lot of it, but it will be better than this. Fermented garlic helps to promote enhanced bioactivity. Now you may wonder what that means, and I did too. But upon research, that means that bioactive components are what's in your body to help your body overall function. And when they are supported, your body functions properly. It functions better. Fermented garlic can also prevent cell damage. And there's studies that are even suggesting that it could reverse clogged arteries. Like, it can chip away the plaque that is clogging arteries. All right. Fermented garlic can also help slow the growth of pathogens. I told you that garlic is nature's antibiotic, so it makes sense that it can slow the growth of pathogens. It can slow the growth of infection. Fermented garlic is a pure powerhouse. It helps to fight infection. It helps to relieve cold and flu symptoms. and other things. Wink, wink. So of course, if you grow your own garlic, it is super to be able to use that. But sometimes we may not grow enough, or maybe we don't grow it at all. So I've purchased a bulk bag. It's 3 pounds of organic garlic, and I got this at Costco. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to fill a wide mouth mason jar almost to the top. As you can tell, there's still a good inch or so left before the top of it. To this, we're going to add 1 tablespoon, and you've heard me say it so much in these last videos, but we're taking a tablespoon of Redmond's real salt. And we're going to just pour that into our garlic. And now we're going to take some unfluoridated water. So if you have city water, use a water filtration system of some kind. This came from the Berkey. I probably don't have enough water in here. I may have to get some more, but I didn't want to have to carry the camera back and forth. So I just poured some into my larger jar. Hey, look there. I did good. All right, so this is ready. Okay, now is it ready to take right now? No, we've got to give it time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this with some with a plastic wrap because of the gnats throughout the house that sometimes tries to get into things. I'm going to cover it, and then I'm going to put a loose lid over the top, and I'll show you what I do. So we're going to take just a piece of plastic wrap off of this. And again, fruit flies are just really terrible here at my house. If you are not cursed with them at yours, just thank the Lord for it. But they're bad here, so I have to be very diligent about trying to keep them out. So there's a loose fitting piece of plastic wrap over the top, and then there's a loose lid, and when I say loose, it's just sitting on top, just like that. Now, I'm gonna watch this, and it may be that I need to give it a little swirl every day or two. I need to watch it. I need to see if there's a film of yeast or possibly even mold that starts on the top. If that happens, that means there was just the garlic was not covered with water enough, and it could, because that little bit of garlic right there is floated up to the top, but I'll watch it to make sure. It will probably start shrinking down and go down here pretty soon, but I'll watch it. It's not going to hurt. If that happens, scrape it off and move on. It is not going to hurt anything. Do not fret. But you want to give this, I say, a few weeks, because that fermentation process is going to start softening the garlic cloves. It's going to break them. It'll feel like it's breaking them down a little bit, but you'll start seeing bubbles. You'll start seeing just some activity happening, and you know that that fermenting is working, and it's going to be so good for you to have in your fridge for sickness, for, I mean, just anytime you feel a sniffle, you've been around someone sick, anytime you will have your garlic. You come home from wherever one day and you start, oh man, I feel a little rough, grab you some garlic. All right, now I'm going to show you another type of fermented garlic, and we're going to do the very same thing. We've got our garlic. I'm going to fill it up, but I'm only going to fill this one up about halfway. Now that one is a little bit, I don't know. I'm going to pull that one out. It's a little bit Now with this garlic, I've only filled up about halfway. I'm going to take it and I'm going to do a honey fermented garlic. This also is going to be the same kind of thing. It's going to be an antibacterial. It's going to be antibiotic. It's going to be a cancer fighter. It's going to be all those same things, but it's going to have the beautiful benefits of raw honey in there as well. So it's like a double whammy, or even though it's more like a triple whammy, because we're taking garlic that's already beneficial, we're fermenting it, so it's doubly beneficial, and now we're adding raw honey, and that's triple beneficial. So it's like you want to take a bath in it. It's so good. But we're going to take this raw honey, and this is from my brother-in-law, and I have been very, very careful about how I use this, because this is all I have, and this is back from his 2022 hives, and it's very precious, so I want to use it wisely, and this is a very wise way of using it. So I'm going to fill my jar with this beautiful honey and cover up all that garlic. Now I'm probably going to have to come back in here and add some more as it settles. But this honey garlic is so tasty. And after you pull the garlic to use for yourself, to eat a clove when you're sick or whatnot, this honey garlic that's left over, it is delicious. You can put it over some chicken. You could put it in your homemade honey mustard. You could put it in over some fish, and oh man, it's just, you could put it on top of some pizza. Oh my word, it would be so good. So I'm gonna add just a smidge more, and then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna add a little bit of plastic wrap over the top and a lid. And I will do the same with this garlic. Hold on, I got an itch. I still have to grab me a lid. But I will do the same with it. It'll set together. I'll look at it or be reminded, and then I'll shake it and watch it. And when I see, I'll taste it. And when it gets to the desired consistency that I like, which is the garlic is softened, but it's not mush. And that's usually about 3 or so weeks, 4 weeks maybe. And when it gets to that point, I will refrigerate it. In the past, I kept all my ferments over what I call the fermentation station over on my counter beside the eggs. But for now, I'm going to store them right here. And I have enough that I'm probably going to do another couple of jars. But I'm going to store them right here. That way, as I'm walking through the kitchen, my eyes spot it, I think about it, and then I can check on them every other day. Have this on hand this year. Make some. You saw how stupid easy it is. Make some for you and your family. Have it on hand. Now, you may wonder, how am I going to take this? Let me show you. Hang on. I just so happen to have some fermented garlic in my fridge. Now this is just the regular fermented garlic with salt. It's not the one with honey, but I want to show you. Do you see that? See how there's like purple and blue and green tinge to some of these? That's perfectly fine. There's an enzyme inside of garlic, and sometimes you'll have like purpley veined garlic. Same kind of thing. It's just an enzyme in the garlic that turns, when it starts to be fermented, it will change color. So when you start doing this, don't freak out and say, oh, my garlic's green. Is it rancid? No. It's just an enzyme that is being activated by the fermentation. So don't fear. So how do we take it? Again, like I said, I've been around sickness. I'm feeling a little I'm going to pull this out, and you can see that the garlic clove is still intact. It is a little softer, but I would just pop it and eat it. And you can chop it up, take it with a spoon. You can chop it up, add a little honey to it and take it if you didn't do the honey fermented one. However you need to get it down. We usually just chew it up and eat it. When you ferment things, I feel like, now my husband said, don't tell them that because it ain't true. But to me, it has a sweet note to it. Now, it's not like fresh garlic that's super potent and super strong. It's still somewhat strong, but it's almost, there's almost a sweetness in there to it, to me. If you've tried this, let me know what you think too. But he's like, you're crazy, there's no sweetness to this. But I'm telling you, I taste the sweetness. It's like when you you sweat it down in a pan and roast it, it brings out those natural sugars and sweetnesses to it. That's kind of how it tastes to me. So when you do this, you want to, like I said, leave it on your counter, check on it, give it at least 3 weeks. 4 is better, and you can leave it up to 6. Now, fermenting, when it's hot, it's going to ferment faster than when it's cold. That's just a fermenting rule across the board. Even if your house is somewhat regulated in heat, it knows. It knows if it's hot outside, if it's cold outside, because your house will fluctuate. Even if you do kind of keep a regulated temperature, it still fluctuates a bit because of open doors and just the people. So 3-4 weeks, check them and see. You want to make sure there's still some integrity to them. And so as long as you're not looking to plant the garlic, this is a wonderful way to preserve it. You can still use fermented garlic in any of your dishes. Even though you're cooking it, it's still going to be beneficial to you, so don't fret about that, especially if you make an abundance of it. But if you put it, if you ferment it and you keep it in your fridge, when I made roasted salsa and my roasted pasta sauce this past month, fermented garlic went in it because I didn't have any fresh on hand. So it works, and it may kill off some of the benefits of fresh fermented garlic, but the garlic properties are still there, and it's still going to be good for you. If you're going to take it as a supplement or as nature's antibiotic, keep it in this form. But if you're going to roast it and use it in your food, don't worry about it. It's still going to be good for you, but it's just not going to be as good for you. Make sense? Fermentation has been around for generations and generations. It's so beautiful and wonderful because, we think back, there had to be a way to preserve foods that lasted people for a long time. And fermenting is one of those ways. This was one of my to-do lists on my YouTube list of videos to make. And Ruthann is, and if you don't know, Ruthann Zimmerman, I'm gonna put her in my description. Super popular, super wonderful. I love this woman. We actually got to meet, and we were online friends before, but now we're actually in real life friends, and I just love her to pieces. I will tag her in the description, like I said, but she is doing a series right now on her YouTube channel called Homesteading with the Zimmermans, and she's doing Meant to Ferment, and that's the tagline. So if you want to see any of the videos that she's done on fermentation, they're going to be in there, and I'm going to tag our video here to come up under that hashtag as well. So don't get discouraged thinking you have to do the very best, the utmost. You got to grow it all, you got to do it all. You don't have to. You can start baby stepping and do good, better, best, and give yourself grace and make it a goal to bring in some type of fermented food. Don't taste it after 1 or 2 tries and say, I don't like it. Sometimes we have to do things that we don't necessarily like for our body to catch up with, because we're so accustomed to that SAD, S-A-D diet, the standard American diet, that these things feel foreign to us. So beginning to bring those in a little at a time.
Our taste
may
buds.
say, no, I don't like this. Our taste buds may say no, but give it some time, give it a chance, and I really do believe you will find a ferment that's good for you. But I'm not telling you to go eat every ferment out there either. Just find 1 or 2 things that you really like, at least to start with, and give it a chance to really see your health improve and see your taste buds begin to change as you accept more of these traditional foods. So I hope that this is a beneficial video for you, that you see how easy it is to ferment your own garlic, whether you grow it or you buy it from the store or you buy it from a friend, whatever. Make sure to have some fermented garlic on your shelf this cold and flu season. I think it will help your family so much. And I know people all over that take garlic supplements. Here's your garlic supplement. Take this instead. It's going to be better for you. It's going to be cheaper too. So even if you can't chew it up all the way by itself, or you can't swallow it all at once, chop it up. You can do it. Thank y'all for being here. I hope you enjoyed, and please, if you did, come back again, or like the video, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with your friends. I hope to reach many on how easy it is to ferment your own garlic and get your family ready for the cold and flu season. As per usual, let me just stress that I'm not a doctor. I'm not licensed in any way except the license from the School of Hard Knocks, and how I've learned through the years as a mom and wife and now a grandma. This is what I use for my family, and we've been using it for a couple of decades now, and it's just something that we find very valuable, and we keep it on hand at all times. So I hope that helps you. God bless you, and come again soon. Bye-bye.